Hey everybody, welcome to The Good Feeling Life. My name is Talia and today I'm in my car. I just have a few moments and I've been having something on my mind that I've been needing to share, but I've been so busy. I've been traveling. I went to New York. I went camping with my best friend on an island near my island, and I just haven't had the time to come on live, but this has been burning in my mind. So today I want to talk about stories. This is going to be a really quick one because I don't have much time today, but it needs to get out. So what I'm talking about with stories is we make up stories in our life about our life and we replay them. And I am not excluded from this. This is me as well. So I'm in this as well. We play them over and over and over and over and over again and continue to find evidence because we keep these stories alive. So one example of this might be, say you have a family member, say you have an aunt who from the time that you were young, people have been saying this aunt is really selfish, or she's, whatever else we could say. She's horrible with money, or she makes horrible choices or whatever. But let's just say she's really selfish and she's the family drama person. Every time that your aunt does something, people are going to continue to play the story of she's selfish. So if one day your poor aunt gets stuck in traffic and she shows up to the birthday party late, pretty soon everybody's like, well, that fits in with the story that she's so selfish. She can't even be on time. And everything that this poor aunt will do, everybody, because they have this story in their mind that this person is selfish, everything that they do will keep coming back to, oh, well, because she's selfish, and we'll keep playing that. So this also happens with yourself. We have stories that we've made up from the time that we were very, very young about not being good enough. We all have a not being good enough. We all have something, and many things usually, that we feel not good enough. It's very common for you to feel, or for people to feel, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not, you don't have enough money, you aren't capable of making good relationship choices, or whatever other story. You're horrible with money, you'll never get healthy, you're always unhealthy, you have no willpower. There's all these different stories that we've made up about ourselves. So again, this comes into play all the time. So say we have a story that we've been dieting our whole life, we can't figure it out, we're weak, we sabotage, we don't have any willpower. That's your story. So you go to a dinner and there's bread put on the table. Right away, your story flares up. Oh, well, you have no willpower, so you're probably going to give in. And that type of talk leads you to probably eat the bread. Not even that the bread is wrong, but you eat the bread and then you keep telling yourself this story that you have about how you have no willpower, and that's your story. And then it almost becomes a little bit like, without realizing it, we become a victim of the story. And it's almost like, I don't know what to do. I have no willpower. I see this all the time. I see the evidence. I always eat this, or I drink when I say I don't want to, or I this or I that. I have no willpower. I have no willpower. And every time you go into a situation that you perceive as needing willpower, you already have the story about yourself that you have awful willpower. Why is my light on? Anyways, doesn't matter. So I want you to be really careful about what happens in your life and what you're making it mean. So if you go to a dinner and you have some bread or you have dessert, try not to lump it into the story you have about yourself of having no willpower, or you're always failing, or you'll never have what it takes to get healthy, and unlump that stuff. I say that sometimes to clients. It's the most unbeautiful term, unlump, but unlump it, man. Take it out of the rest of your life and look at it for what it is. I chose dessert. So I'm somebody that if I can find a powerful way to look at something, that's what makes me jazz. People tell me all the time, like, they'll say to me, you have a way of reframing things, because there's always an empowering way to look at things. So if you have, and you do have these stories, I have them too. I'm going to share a personal example. Last night I went to yoga, and I was in hot yoga and I was doing this pose and it hurt. And right away the story came in about my back. I am a victim of my back pain. I always have back pain. That's my story, is I don't know what it is and blah, blah, blah. Nobody else has back pain like I do, which I know is crap, because I know that a lot of people suffer with pain. But when I'm in my story, I'm the one who's suffering. Nobody understands. So I'm in this yoga pose and it starts twinging. And all of a sudden I hear this voice go, oh no, it's my back, and oh, I bet other people can do it, and if I didn't have back pain, I could do it. Oh, it's so limiting. And it's such a quick thought. It's not like I'm sitting there huddled in the corner replaying these stories out loud. It's a quick thought. And it's, oh, if I didn't have this back pain, I'd be able to do this. And see, back pain, it even gets into my life with yoga and oh, blah, 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 right? Right away, I heard the story and I went, you're telling yourself a story about back pain. It doesn't mean that the back pain's fake. It doesn't mean that the story, like that the fact that I have back pain is real, because it is, but retelling the story and finding ways for the story of I have back pain to come alive over and over and over is never going to serve you. So if you feel like you have stories about not being good enough, one of the biggest ways to pinpoint your biggest stories is to ask yourself, what is the thing that it's not like don't like in myself, but what is sort of my weakness, or what is my, how do I say this? Like my bad traits, or what is awful about me, or the things I do, or something in there. And you'll start to hear like, oh, I have, like I said, no willpower. Oh, I'm not very smart. Oh, I've never been the pretty one, or oh, I've never been the healthy one, or I've never been good with money. There's these stories that creep up, and I want to call crap on those, because if you start to believe that, okay, so in my past, I haven't always made the best choices with money, but I can change. I can learn differently. That's all you need to do. Just that energetically stops the story. Now you're not somebody who's awful with money and always awful with money. You're someone who's learning. So if you feel like you have a story about health or anything, really anything, like I said, bad relationships, or you never follow through on the things you say you're going to do, or you never finish projects, or you procrastinate, be really careful and just start being the witness. Just start noticing how often these stories come into your life every single day. And if you can just say, you know what? I'm not going to label myself as somebody who is awful with money, or somebody that never finishes projects, because that doesn't feel very good. So if I'm someone who never finishes projects and you desire to change that, just say to yourself, you know what? Next time that creeps up, I'm somebody who in the past, there's been a lot of things that I've half completed, and just own it. That's something that has happened. In the past, there's been things that I've said I would finish and I didn't. But you know what? I want to do better, and I'm willing to look at this a new way. That's all it takes. So I want you to be really careful about the stories you tell yourself. And if you've ever worked with me one-on-one, you know that these stories have many, many, many layers. So there's stories about your community, stories about your politics, like your politicians. There's stories about the world. There's stories about men, stories about women. So if you have a story about men, like men, are, whatever it is, men are dogs, or most men don't know how to treat a woman. You'll see a man, and the second you see something that you perceive, you might see a man say like, sweetie, get my wallet, or something, saying something to his wife, or, hun, grab my whatever. And in your head, you go, see, he's a dog. He didn't even say please, or the way he talked to her. Like, you will keep the story alive, because that's what we do. Our brain is so smart. Our ego is so smart. It will not make us out to be a liar. So it will do whatever it can to keep those stories alive, which will keep you stuck. If that story is about you and it's about something that you want to change, like your financial situation, your health, your opportunities that you have in life, your job, your relationships, as soon as you are constantly keeping the story alive about I'm not lovable, I'm not pretty enough, nobody will go for me, nobody would marry me, I would never be a very good mother, or whatever it is that you have going on, just be alive. Be alive. Be aware of how you keep these stories alive, because when you keep them alive, you give the universe no chance but to continue to show you the thing that you don't want. So if you have the story about all men are dogs, or, whatever it is, you will see that in your life over and over and over and over. So why don't you just try to notice next time something comes up, you judge it as some truth some story you see a man, he's not holding his wife's hand, or he's walking in front of her or something, and you say, see, men are dogs. There's another one. I know there's no good men out here, or something. Catch yourself. Stop yourself. Go, wait a minute. I've created a story about men. And depending on how willing you are, say either, maybe I misperceived that. Maybe she's the one that's angry at him walking behind him, or who knows, right? Just admit that you don't know, that story might not be 100% true, and open yourself up for something new, because then you'll actually be able to see the men that are beautifully nice, the ones that are considerate, the ones that help an old lady across the street, the ones that hold the door open for you. You'll be able to finally see those men. And if you're looking for a relationship, those men can now start to come into your life. Because if you have a story that all men are dogs, and these are just examples, right? Not everybody, of course, has that story. Try going out on a date with one. Trying to find a relationship. If a man is considering you to go on a date with, or to have a relationship with, or something, and you're carrying this belief of like all men are jerks, then that's going to shine through in the way that you act, and you'll start repelling good men. So that's just an example, but it works the same with health, the same with abundance, the same with everything. Even the politicians that you may have really strong opinions about, really try to just back up and say, this must be happening for a reason. Interesting and quite true. Thank you. Min, is it Min or is it Julie? Thank you so much. So just try with, say, a politician you have really strong opinion about, just think this must be happening for a reason. Maybe this is a cry out for peace. Maybe this is the final straw in the back of this sort of patriarch society, and it's going to flip the other way, and it's the beginning of light workers. Maybe this will pass. Maybe there's something that we can learn. Maybe this is, to stretch your activist desires. Maybe it's something you want to go stand up for something. So instead of just playing the story over and over and over and over and over and over, where you will start to find peace and where you will start to change your life is by noticing the stories. So really be aware of that. I would say start with the stories about yourself, because those are the ones that are causing the most damage. Those are the ones that are blocking you from the things that you really truly want, and maybe preventing you from being able to move forward, to take a leap. I know that, say just an example, when I invested in my first coach, I had so many stories about like, what if I'm not coachable, or what the hell even is a coach? And this is a lot of money. What if I never make this money back? What if it becomes a waste? And I realized, okay, whoa, that's a lot of stories. My heart is telling me to invest. And it was a lot of money at the time, but I took the leap to invest because I realized the stories about like, what if I spend all my money and it never comes back? Or what if I get taken advantage of and she doesn't turn out to be, what I thought? That was all just crap. That would have kept me from taking the massive leap that absolutely changed my life. So just recognize that your stories are holding you back, and that's not to be a downer. That's actually to be empowering. When I realize what's holding me back, then I'm empowered to change it. So all I ask of you today is start to notice if you're noticing stories about yourself, stories about the world around you, stories about your community or this planet or whatever it is. Start to notice those and just start to soften, going, maybe I don't know the whole picture. Maybe it's not 100% true. Maybe I can open myself up to a new possibility. Let me know what you think about that. Thank you for tuning in with me, Min, and I will see you soon. Bye.